Marcus had always known what it meant to be alone. Orphaned at a young age and shuffled from one rough neighborhood to another, he never knew what family truly felt like. By the time he turned 18, he was hardened, not by choice, but by survival. He worked for a feared gang leader named Rico, not because he loved crime, but because that world was the only one that ever offered him shelter. And Rico? He offered Marcus exactly what he craved most: loyalty, even if it was fake. Marcus was sharp, quick with his fists, and loyal to a fault. Rico used him as his right hand for street collections, intimidation, and occasionally more serious tasks. But Marcus never asked questions. In his world, questions got you killed. Over time, he became known as Rico's dog, always doing his master's bidding. But Marcus wasn't heartless. Beneath the cold surface was a man just hoping for peace and maybe love. That peace came unexpectedly when he met Jasmine, a university student volunteering at a youth shelter in the neighborhood. She was kind, curious, and completely out of his league. But somehow, she saw something in him. Against all odds, they grew close. Jasmine didn't know the full truth about his life, and Marcus was too afraid to tell her. She made him feel human again. When she got pregnant, Marcus was terrified, but determined to do better, to change. Just as Marcus began planning a different life, Rico called him in. A major crime, a violent robbery, had gone wrong. The police were looking for suspects. Rico sat across from Marcus and laid out cold. You take the fall, or Jasmine dies. And so does your baby. Marcus froze. This wasn't a threat. It was a promise. Out of fear for the two people he loved most, Marcus did what he never thought he'd do again. He turned himself in for a crime he didn't commit. Jasmine was devastated. Her trust shattered. Her parents banned Marcus's name from their house. Marcus spent nearly 2 years in prison. He never reached out to Jasmine. He had no way of proving his innocence, and he didn't want her to know the danger he had saved her from. Each day, he thought of her and of the child he had never met. He feared that Jasmine would move on, and deep down, he hoped she did. At least then she'd be safe. When Marcus was released, he had barely stepped back into the world before Rico found him. This time, it was worse. Rico was involved in something bigger: drug trafficking, weapons bribery. And again, he needed a fall guy. Marcus refused at first, but Rico pulled out his last card. "We know where Jasmine and your little girl are." Marcus's blood froze. The second time, he didn't go quietly, but the frame-up was already in motion. Before he could react, he was once again on the run. This time, Marcus didn't surrender. He knew if he went to jail again, he might never come out alive. And worse, Jasmine and his daughter would still be unprotected, so he disappeared. The city exploded with headlines: "Repeat offender escapes arrest, armed and dangerous." Photos of his face were plastered everywhere. Police wanted him. Rico wanted him dead. Jasmine, who had already moved to another city with her child, saw the news and cried, not just in anger, but in heartbreak. She still didn't know the truth. While hiding in the shadows, Marcus began searching for any evidence that could expose Rico. It was during this time that he met Detective Elena Torres. She was investigating corruption within the city's crime units and had long suspected Rico's involvement in multiple setups. At first, she wanted to arrest Marcus, but something about his eyes told her he wasn't lying when he said, "I never did any of it. I was protecting them." Elena offered a deal. She'd help Marcus find the evidence he needed to clear his name if he helped expose Rico's entire operation. Marcus agreed. Together, they tracked down shady accountants, threatened informants, and uncovered surveillance tapes and secret bank transfers that linked Rico to dirty cops and city officials. It was dangerous. Every move they made put Marcus at risk. More than once, Rico's men nearly found him. Meanwhile, Jasmine struggled to explain things to her growing daughter. She told her that her father had once made mistakes, but she wasn't sure what to believe anymore. Seeing Marcus constantly on the news as a fugitive made her question if she ever knew him at all. But something didn't add up. Jasmine had always known Marcus to be gentle, loyal, selfless. Could she have been wrong? After weeks of dodging bullets and corrupt officers, Elena and Marcus struck gold. A USB drive hidden in a hotel safe that contained Rico's entire operation. Names, payment logs, hit orders, and voice memos, including one that mentioned Jasmine's name. Rico had planned to eliminate her if Marcus didn't cooperate. Marcus wept when he heard it. She was never safe, not even when I stayed silent. They leaked the evidence anonymously to the press and to federal agents. Within 48 hours, Rico's operation crumbled. He was arrested during a live raid, angry, screaming, and completely exposed. Some of the officers who had protected him were suspended. Others were jailed. The city shook. But one name still lingered on the wanted list: Marcus Johnson. Elena urged Marcus to run, but he refused. He had cleared Rico out of the way. Now it was time to face the world on his own terms. He walked into police headquarters, handed over everything he had left, and surrendered. Elena stood beside him. The media caught everything. Jasmine watched it unfold live. For the first time, she saw the man she once loved not as a criminal, but as a protector. The court trial was fast. With Rico's arrest and Elena's testimony, Marcus was declared innocent of all charges. His name was finally cleared. Jasmine attended the hearing, holding their daughter in her arms. After the verdict, Marcus stepped out and saw them both waiting. The little girl, only 4, ran into his arms. Jasmine followed, tears falling freely. "You never stopped protecting us," she whispered, "even when we stopped believing in you." Months later, in a quiet garden behind a small church, Marcus and Jasmine exchanged vows in a simple ceremony. Elena attended, smiling in the back row. Their daughter danced barefoot on the grass. Marcus wasn't a thug anymore. He was a father, a husband, a man reborn through pain, sacrifice, and love. And for the first time in his life, he had a family of his own,